Hello there, and welcome back to the Peak Performance Table Tennis Podcast. Today we move on from nutrition and into the realm of physical training. In this episode, we will debunk 10 common myths and misconceptions around physical training for table tennis. We'll talk about whether lifting heavy weights will make you too bulky, whether functional training is the best approach for building athleticism, whether training on unstable surfaces will help you improve balance. We'll talk about muscle confusion, distance running for endurance, flexibility and injury risk, and more. Enjoy.
All right, serious table tennis players, welcome to another deep dive. This one's for you. Today we're going to be unpacking and debunking 10 common myths surrounding physical training for table tennis. We're going to be talking about the stuff that, sounds right on the surface, but could actually be holding you back from reaching your full potential on the court. You ready to train smarter, not harder?
Absolutely. Let's dive right in.
Okay. Let's tackle the first myth. Muscle makes you slow. I think we can all kind of relate to this one, right? You start hitting the gym, maybe feel yourself getting a little stronger. Then someone throws out the idea that all that muscle is going to turn you into a lumbering giant on the court. A total disaster for a table tennis player.
Yeah, that's definitely a common concern, but thankfully it's a myth. So first off, gaining significant muscle mass, it's a slow process. It's a gradual process. Research actually suggests that a male beginner, even with really dedicated effort, might only see a pound or two of muscle gain per month. And for women, it's even less. So you're not going to suddenly transform into a bodybuilder overnight.
So no need to worry about accidentally becoming the Incredible Hulk. But isn't there more to it than just the fear of bulking up?
Exactly. Muscle isn't just about aesthetics, right? It plays a crucial role in injury prevention. Think of it like adding extra armor that's protecting your joints from the repetitive strain of training in matches.
Okay, so muscle's actually good for us. It can protect us, but surely all that extra weight is going to slow us down.
And that's where this myth really falls apart. You can just look at some of the elite table tennis players like Fan Zhendong. This guy is incredibly strong and muscular, yet he moves with amazing speed and agility. So in fact, strength is really the foundation for explosiveness and those lightning-fast reactions that define modern table tennis.
That's such a great point. All right, myth busted. Building muscle can actually enhance our speed and agility on the court. Let's move on to myth number 2. Strength doesn't matter for a 3-gram ball. I can see how this one makes sense on the surface. After all, we're not powerlifters, right?
True. But it's a little bit of an oversimplification. We need to remember that strength isn't just about brute force. It's about generating the power needed to accelerate your entire body across the court to reach that tiny ball. Think of it this way. You're not just swinging your arm, you're propelling yourself into position with every shot.
So the strength we build in the gym translates into that explosive footwork that's so crucial in table tennis.
Yeah, exactly. Strength training helps develop the fast-twitch muscle fibers that are responsible for, those quick, powerful movements. So it's really about building a foundation for speed and agility, not just raw strength for the sake of it.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to myth number 3. Agility ladders equal agility. I'll admit I've fallen for this one myself. Seemed like if I could just master those fancy footwork patterns, I'd be dancing around the table like a pro.
Yeah, the agility ladder can be a fun tool to use, but it's not the magic solution for table tennis agility. The key difference is that agility ladders primarily focus on footwork patterns, but lack the crucial element of force production, which is essential for real speed and agility.
So we're essentially training our feet to move quickly in these predetermined patterns, but not necessarily training the explosive power needed to react to an opponent's shot in a split second.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's like practicing a choreographed dance routine versus, improvising on the fly. Both require skill, but the demands of a real table tennis match are much more reactive and unpredictable.
Right. So what are some better alternatives to agility ladder drills? If we want to become truly agile players, where should we focus our training?
So instead of just doing endless ladder drills, prioritize exercises that build true speed and explosive power. Sprinting, for example, is fantastic for developing overall speed and conditioning.
Makes sense. We need to be able to cover the ground quickly. What else?
Plyometrics are also key. So these are exercises like jumps, bounds, and hops that train those fast twitch muscle fibers, giving you that explosive power to react to the ball.
Yeah, I can see how that would translate well to table tennis. I mean, those quick lunges and changes of direction require serious explosiveness.
Exactly. And don't forget about change of direction drills and reactive training. So these mimic the unpredictable nature of table tennis, forcing you to react quickly to visual cues and adjust your movements accordingly.
Ready to cut through all these myths and take your table tennis game to the next level? Download the Peak Performance Table Tennis Routine, a free table tennis specific workout program designed to help you move faster, hit harder, and last longer in your toughest matches. It's the most up-to-date training guide I've developed, and it's completely free because I don't want finances to stand in the way of your progress. The routine is simple, effective, and perfect for all skill levels. Grab your free copy today at peakperformancetabletennis.com/routine and start seeing results.
Okay. Myth number 4. Gym time steals table time. I've heard this concern from a lot of players, and I think it's a valid one. It's that feeling that, like, every minute you spend in the gym is a minute lost on the table.
Right. And it's understandable. But with a little planning and efficiency, you can absolutely prioritize both strength training and table tennis practice without sacrificing either. Effective strength training doesn't have to require hours and hours in the gym.
So it's more about quality over quantity.
Precisely. You can achieve significant gains with just 2 to 3 short strength training sessions per week, ideally, lasting 30 to 60 minutes each. Focus on compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously, like squats, deadlifts, and presses.
That's reassuring to know. Is there any research to back this up?
Absolutely. There was a 2016 study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, and they demonstrated that elite table tennis players who incorporated weight training saw improvements in their strength, their jump height, sprint speed, and agility, all without any negative impact on their table tennis training or performance.
Wow. That's a pretty compelling case for making time for both types of training. Speaking of training, let's talk about myth number 5. Functional training is king. I have to admit, I'm a little curious about this one. What exactly does functional training even mean in the context of table tennis?
Yeah, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, and it's often misunderstood. The idea behind functional training is to train movements, not muscles, in a way that mimics the demands of your sport. But it's really easy to get caught up in the hype and end up doing exercises that are, more flashy than they are effective.
So you're saying not all functional training is created equal.
Right. The key is to focus on basic foundational movement patterns. So squats, hinges, pushes, and pulls. Master these with proper form and progressively overload them over time. And you'll see far better results than trying to, imitate a table tennis serve while balancing on a Bosu ball.
So ditch the gimmicks and focus on those fundamental movements that build a solid base of strength and power. Sounds like a much more sensible approach than trying to, turn my training sessions into a circus act.
Exactly. Focus on building that solid foundation, and you'll be well on your way to becoming a stronger, more powerful player.
Okay, let's move on to myth number 6. It's important to train specifically to improve balance, especially by using unstable surfaces. This one kind of reminds me of all those videos you see of athletes doing like squats on Bosu balls or wobble boards. Does that type of training really translate to better balance on the table tennis court?
So while balance is undoubtedly important in table tennis, the sport itself offers a pretty fantastic balance workout built right in. I mean, think about it. Every lunge, every quick step, every recovery from an off-balance shot is challenging your balance, forcing you to make these micro adjustments.
So in a way, we're already getting a pretty good balance workout just by playing table tennis.
Exactly. The dynamic, unpredictable nature of the game constantly challenges your balance in ways that a static exercise on an unstable surface simply can't replicate.
So if we feel like we need some extra balance work, what would you recommend? Like, should we ditch the Bosu ball and focus on something else?
Yeah, if you really want to focus on improving your balance, I'd recommend sticking to single leg exercises and plyometrics performed on stable surfaces. These will challenge your balance while also strengthening the muscles that are responsible for stability and control.
Got it. Okay. Myth number 7. Swinging a weighted paddle or a dumbbell is a good sport-specific way to get stronger for table tennis. This one seems logical at first glance. We're essentially mimicking the movement of our sport with added resistance. What's the problem with that approach?
Well, while the intention is good, swinging a weighted object often fails to properly overload the muscles in a way that leads to genuine strength gains.
Okay, so if we're not swinging weighted paddles, what's the right way to develop the power we need for our table tennis shots?
The key is to develop overall strength and power through exercises that target the major muscle groups that are involved in table tennis. Think squats, lunges, presses, rows, and core work. These exercises will build a solid foundation of strength that will transfer much more effectively to your game.
So build a strong base, and the power will follow.
Precisely. And if you really want to focus on developing explosive power, incorporate plyometric exercises like jump squats, box jumps, and medicine ball throws. These will train your muscles to generate force quickly and powerfully, which is essential for those, lightning fast smashes and drives.
All right. Myth number 8. Becoming more flexible will reduce my injury rate and improve my performance. Flexibility is a big topic in the fitness world, but is it truly essential for table tennis?
It's another area where balance is key. While some flexibility is certainly beneficial, excessive flexibility without the strength to control it can actually increase your risk of injury. Think of it like a rubber band that's stretched too far, it becomes weak and prone to snapping.
So it's not just about being able to touch your toes. There's more to it than that.
Exactly. You need the strength to support that range of motion. The good news is that full range of motion strength training often provides the flexibility benefits you need.
So if we focus on performing our exercises with proper form and through a full range of motion, we're essentially getting a flexibility workout at the same time.
That's right. So instead of dedicating, hours to static stretching, prioritize strength training with good form, and you'll be addressing both strength and flexibility simultaneously.
That's efficient. Okay, let's tackle myth number 9. Distance running is a good way to build up my legs and condition myself for table tennis. I know a lot of players who swear by their long runs for endurance. Are they on the right track?
While running can be a great form of exercise, long-distance running isn't the most effective way to prepare for the specific demands of table tennis.
So it's not just about being able to, run for miles.
Not exactly. Table tennis relies on short bursts of high-intensity activity, which is very different from the sustained, lower-intensity effort of long-distance running.
So if I'm a table tennis player looking to boost my on-court stamina, what should I be doing instead of logging those long runs?
The best way to improve your conditioning for table tennis is to train specifically for the demands of the game, incorporate high-intensity interval training into your on-court drills. So this involves alternating short bursts of intense effort with brief recovery periods.
So more like sprints and marathons.
Exactly. Think quick bursts of speed and agility followed by, brief periods of rest, just like you'd experience during a rally.
All right. On to our final myth. Confuse your muscles for growth. This one seems to be a popular topic of debate in the gym. What's the real story behind muscle confusion, and does it have a place in table tennis training?
The idea behind muscle confusion is that by constantly changing your exercises, you prevent your muscles from adapting and plateauing, leading to greater gains. But the problem is that most people take it too far.
So there's a balance to be struck between consistency and variety.
Exactly. Sticking with specific exercises for a training cycle, usually around 4 to 6 weeks, allows you to really hone your technique, track your progress, and progressively overload those muscles. This consistent approach will lead to more significant strength gains in the long run.
So rather than trying to keep our muscles guessing, we should focus on mastering a few key exercises and getting stronger at them over time.
That's the idea. Don't get caught up in the hype of constantly changing your routine. Focus on building a solid foundation of strength through consistent progressive training.
So there you have it. We busted 10 common table tennis training myths that might be holding you back. Hopefully you're feeling a little more empowered to approach your training with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about training smarter, not just harder. By understanding the science behind training and debunking these myths, you can make more informed decisions about how you spend your time in the gym and on the court. So now that you know what not to do, what will you do to transform your training and unleash your full potential on the table? That's the question I'll leave you with. Until next time, keep training smart and keep pushing those boundaries.
Hello there, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'd love to have some feedback. So if you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe and drop a comment. And if you're on another platform, subscribe now for future episodes packed with actionable insights. In each episode, we'll be breaking down the key concepts from my book, making it easier for you to improve your game step by step. So don't miss out, subscribe today, And as always, may the spin be with you.